Hello and welcome to IFFI News. We bring to you all the latest happenings and celebrities visiting at the Film Fest. Now the top happenings at IFFI, Soul of Asia Cinema and Mysticism, a special section introduced at IFFI 2012 from this year, was inaugurated on Thursday with screening of the opening film Samsara. The vision is to screen India premieres of films made on themes of Asian philosophies and philosophers including Buddhism, Zen, Hinduism, Sufism and other ancient, mystic and ascetic traditions of Asia. Briefing the media here, the festival director Shankar Mohan said it will be a collective endeavour to evolve the Soul of Asia section at IFFI so as to share mutual knowledge that touches the soul of mankind. Samsara is a story of Buddhist monks' quest for enlightenment. Tulsidas Chari reports.
The star standing right in front of you. A big hand for them, please. Thank you very much. Yes, it was a big struggle to make first feature film. I had spent many years trying to mount Samsara. India, I went to Europe at one point of the time. Veera Nair was going to do it in New York, so I spent 1 year there. Then went to London, then went to, I don't know. I mean, then I sort of just gave up because people would tell me that you are making your first feature film. Why do you need this cinema scope and all this equipment to take it to 15,000 feet altitude? And I said, well, this is how the story demands. And so it was very hard to build trust of producer. I did like tons of co-production forum. I couldn't get through NFDC too because I had not done film school. So they said like, we don't know whether you can make a movie. Okay, anyway, so once the film was made, there was a second surprise for me was that how it sort of started traveling. You know, the film traveled beyond none of us expected, neither my producer nor my team. Yes, please, like this. And it was a complete surprise. And within a few weeks, suddenly the film had its own life and entity. Awards, distribution, release, and it started sort of all kind of debates when the film came out, you know, which was I never aimed at, the role of women in the religion. So in a way, it has been a wonderful journey, Samsara, and I must admit that I am very much attached to this film today because it has taken its own form.
And then we realized that there's a whole genre of filmmaking, you know, that's not been touched, or probably very rarely touched by festivals and perhaps talked about by people and filmmakers, and which was films on individual mystical journeys by filmmakers and people who are passionate about cinema and who are passionate about this inner journey. It's a rare combination. We have an extrovert journey, people who are passionate about cinema, and we have most of them who are having an extrovert journey, and there are very few handful of people who also have an inner journey, but yet as passionate as filmmakers can be. And we thought there's a whole new genre of films out there that we should also look at and perhaps bring in as a new section for this festival.
Information and Broadcasting Ministry Secretary Uday Kumar Verma said, as a part of Centenary Cinema, the ministry has taken 3 initiatives. It includes formation of a film promotion board to give one-window clearances to filmmakers wanting to shoot in India, setting up of a museum of Indian cinema at Gulshan Mahal in Mumbai, and formation of National Film Heritage Mission to safeguard our film treasure for posterity. He also called for analyzing to know how the film industry grew in last 100 years in India. Robin D'Souza and Onkal Ferrari brings the report.
The government is very keen to really make sure that this 100 years of Indian cinema leaves behind some legacies. And I'll mention 3 initiatives that the government is taking. One is, of course, setting up a body which facilitates shooting of films in India for people who want to come from abroad or Indian producers. It's a thing which many countries actually offer to film producers. Ours is a slightly more complicated system. I have made a study and I realized that if somebody wants to really come, and I think he will bear me out, if somebody wants to make a film in India, he needs clearances from as many as 25 to 30 agencies, which requires various ministries, state governments, police, local bodies, Archaeological Survey of India, and so on and so forth. So the idea is to really create a single window so that people could make application there, and to create a board which actually is represented by concerned ministries and state governments, and we are able to give them clearances so that we are already going ahead in this, and it is my fervent hope that I think soon, and certainly by early next year, we should be able to put a mechanism in place to facilitate this particular thing. The second thing, of course, is to really set up a museum of Indian cinema. This project is actually under process. It is being set up in Mumbai and in the Films Division campus. It will be divided into two parts. One is, of course, housed in a heritage building. There's a building there known as Gulshan Mahal, which actually will house the past of Indian cinema. And another more modernistic building is to come up, which will be much bigger, which actually will showcase what is going on today and what is expected of the growth in terms of growth and development of Indian cinema. We hope that one part of the museum, that is the historic part of Indian cinema in Gulshan Mahal, should be ready in next three to 4 months, and we should be able to dedicate it to the nation in the year of centenary. And the third is, of course, I think something which is really needed, and that is to have a project or have a mission which ensures that the Indian filmic tradition and Indian filmic treasure is actually conserved and preserved for posterity.
Before reciting the play, which depicts the dialogue of Dada Saheb Phalke and his wife Saraswati, playwright Mohammad Ali Beg and actress Leela Dubey was speaking about the ever-evolving face of Indian theatre and cinema at a press conference in Panji. They stressed on the need for cinematic art in India to be able to absorb the Western influences and to evolve, thereby allowing the birth of new culture which displays both our traditional and modern values.
See, whether theatre or cinema, I think theatre directors, playwrights should, I would say, learn to take pride in their own heritage, in their own culture. You know, most of them would know every Shakespearean play, most of the characters from most of the Shakespearean or Bernard Shaw's plays or Molière's plays. They won't even know what Krishan Chandra had written in India, you know, the name of his play. They won't know characters from a Vijay Tendulkar play, or what Prem Chand attempted, what Ismat Chughtai in her essays wrote, which are adapted today. The treasure of Indian literature or playwriting is not known to Indian directors themselves, or probably they don't present it on stage. They take pride in doing a Shakespearean play, a Western play. You could do adaptations. And personally, I find it funny doing a Shakespearean play with our skin color, our brand of English, and we try and speak Shakespearean in English on stage, and I personally find it funny. All my productions had been heritage oriented, Hindustani, Hyderabadi, Deccani. So I take pride in that, and I refuse to do a Western play on stage for my own personal reasons, which are I take pride in Indianism. Similarly with cinema, if your influences in technology are Western or foreign, there's no harm in it. But what you're presenting on stage has to be the director, the filmmakers, first of all, themselves, they'll have to take pride in their own culture.
What we do in any creative form is a reflection of our society, okay? As it's morphing, changing, you know, transmuting itself, we have to accept that. So as a society, if there are influences that are coming in, that is reflective of the society. You're seeing television, your children are seeing television, people are traveling. We're absorbing certain influences. There's nothing wrong in that. Bombay is an urban city and there are a lot of influences there. So some young people have a lot of influences because that's the way they're living. So it is also a slice of life reality which you can't run away from. Of course, we must have our roots in our heritage. But it's also important to showcase what's new, what's young, what's forming the fabric of our society today. We shouldn't run away from that either, because it's reflective of a new culture, and that is also India. We can't run away and say, oh, we must only do jo purane zamane mein karte the. That's not all India either. I mean, a Kalona Ho has a place as much as a Bagban, as much as a monsoon wearing. I mean, they all have their own aspect of society that they're showing. But yes, we have to keep on reviving. I mean, the same breath, people told me, "Are you're doing Mohan Rakesh's Aadhe Adhure, wo to itna purana play hai, usko kyun kar rahi hain aap phir se?" So I said, that means Shakespeare, which is 500 years old, should never be revived. And now again on Shakespeare, if we can do something new with Shakespeare, like those Swahili guys did,
Right.
you know, you take it and you make it your own and set it in your own country, because Shakespeare's stories are eternal. His poetry is wonderful. If you can do something new with it, then sure, he belongs to the world. He doesn't belong only to England.
A spectacular role depicting a dialogue of Dadasaheb Phalke with his wife Saraswati unraveled the passion that pioneered silent cinema in India. The 20-minute production featured the 43 years journey in all its ups and downs. The initial dream, his struggles, failures, triumphs were beautifully brought out by actress Leela Dubey and Mohammad Ali Beg. The various incidents of his life, including pawning of his wife's jewelry to make Raja Harishchandra his first feature film, his qualities of perseverance and perfectionism were brought out in the enactment, along with the fact that he died in penury in Nasik.
I was captivated. I was captivated to the extent that from Kaveri, I became Saraswati. I began a 43-year-old long journey with him by my side. I was so proud that he was mine. But of course, more than mine, he belonged to the whole world. It was my privilege to walk in the shadow of his starring personality. What more could a woman ask? This, then, is the story of our life together. The story of Dadasaheb Phalke, the father of Indian cinema.
Kamla and I moved to Godhra. She set up her first independent home and I set up the studio. In the beginning, business was brisk and our happiness unbounded. We were soon blessed with our first little girl, and the following year, twin daughters. It seemed nothing would ever go wrong, but destiny proved otherwise. Famine swept the countryside, and in the hungry town of Godhra, there were few visitors to the studio. A strange illness claimed many lives, and a rumor hit the town that my camera was the culprit, the evil eye. Hordes surrounded my studio and burnt it down to a cinder. Kamla and I were heartbroken, fearful. It later transpired that it was an epidemic of plague that was rapidly destroying life around us. I tried rebuilding the studio, but my heart was not in it. I returned to Baroda, empty-handed, devastated, distraught, bereft. I couldn't look at a camera again, so I took to painting backdrops for theatre. I went to all aspects of theatre, wardrobe, makeup, prompting, sets, but my past refused to let go of me. It haunted me.